Hi guys, today I'm going to read an informative called The Water Cycle by Craig Hammersmith. Recycled water. The water now on Earth is the same water that has always been here. Luckily, nature recycles water using the water cycle. The first step, evaporation, is the first step in the water cycle. The sun heats the liquid water. The water changes into a gas called water vapor. The vapor rises into the air. So you can see that it's heating this up. It does that on land also. Heats it up and then the gas rises. Making clouds. Up high, the vapor meets cold air and it cools. It turns back into liquid water droplets or freezes into ice crystals. This process is called condensation. So when the hot gas rises, once it gets up into the sky, it's much colder up there, and then it turns back into tiny little droplets, and all the droplets go together, and once they get super heavy, they start to form clouds. There's different kinds of clouds. The cirrus cloud is on the top and cumulus clouds are on the bottom. Condensation forms clouds. High, thin cirrus clouds are made from ice crystals. Low, puffy cumulus clouds are full of water droplets. So that's why they look different. So the water builds up and they get closer and closer and closer together, and basically it gets too heavy. Coming down. The water droplets or ice crystals in a cloud can get too heavy to stay in the air. Then they fall to the ground. This process is called precipitation. And like we talked about when we were talking about weather, there's all different kinds of precipitation. Maybe this is one of your favorites. Not mine. Precipitation falls in many forms. Rain is liquid water. It falls when the air is warm. Snow is frozen ice crystals. It falls when the air is freezing. I think it's a little too cold for me in that picture. Ooh. Sleet and hail are precipitation. So any kind of water that comes from the sky, from the clouds, is called precipitation. Sleet goes from frozen to liquid to frozen again before hitting the ground. Raindrops freeze in the air to form balls of hail. So maybe you've seen those little balls of hail dropping from the sky. Actually, over spring break that week, we had some hail, some pretty bad thunderstorms too. Once precipitation falls, the water cycle begins again. Nature is a great recycler. So we have the condensation, we have the precipitation, and then you know that the sun must be shining if there's a rainbow, right? So I want you to look at this. Evaporation is when it heats up the water on the ground or in a river or a lake. It turns into a gas and it goes up, up, up into the sky, and it gets cold again, so it turns back into water droplets or freezes and becomes clouds. Different types of clouds soak up or get all those little water droplets together, and they become too heavy and it has to let it go, right? When you have something in your hands that's too heavy, you can't hold on to it forever. So that's when precipitation happens, and depending on where the precipitation is happening or what the cloud is made of, then we know if we're getting rain or hail or snow, depending on the weather that we talked about a few weeks ago. And that is the water cycle.